is the Leonitis versus Schoolboy match. This is pretty much the same kind of setup. So I'm curious to hear, James, what's your prediction on the Schoolboy versus Leonitis? Who wins? Because I would have you as like kind of like Leonitis, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say because I've seen a lot of Schoolboy stuff. I haven't seen a lot of Leonitis except against Larry. Um, so I don't know how strong his hand and wrist are because every time I've seen him go against Larry, it's always been in a hook. So I don't know how good he is at defending the kind of explosive pronation that Schoolboy's going to have. And I think if he gets opened up, I don't know how good he is at pulling without his wrist. Some people can
Mm.
just they lose their wrist, but they're still able to pronate and kind of go sideways. Or some people lose their wrist and they're able to really get behind themselves and turn it into a flop press. Other people lose their wrist and they just get pinned. So I would need to see that before I made any comment on that.
Okay. RVJ, what is your prediction on that one?
It's a tough one. Surprisingly, I can actually see lanes that I think Leonidas could certainly win. If they get strapped up and if he gets anything but flat, I do think Leonidas has developed a strong enough understanding of arm wrestling and at least what he can do, and the bicep and arm strength will be sufficient. It may be a dogfight. The question is can he shut it down in that surge and weird rotation? And Schoolboy's wrist bends like awkwardly, like more than 90 even. And who knows how big he's going to come in. The kid's getting big. He's probably close to 300 pounds at this point. So, but I definitely see lanes that Leonidas could win. But I mean, the odds-on favorite right now with the skill set have to be Schoolboy. But I don't think it's as far off as people think. I could absolutely see if somebody told me Leonidas won 3-0 at this point in time, I wouldn't be crazy surprised. But that's also who knows behind the curtain. We're just guessing on what the last time we saw Schoolboy. How do we know that he's not cerebral enough that he went home and is just banging on his hook and he's going to come in with an arm that's super elite level? We don't know that either. There's always, when we guess on people, we're always guessing on their last outing, how we last saw them. And with somebody like Schoolboy, we haven't seen him since he pulled Khaled. We don't know what he's done in those years. You know what I mean? That's a lot of time for a young, motivated guy to get really strong and really different.
Yeah. I think I think that's going to be a big gap for him to close in terms of inside power and arm power. But it's also been, like Rob said, it's been a really long time. The Khaled match was like what, 2 years ago or something?
Yeah.
It was a super long time ago. So that is
And he
normally
is
I'd
like
say
two,
it's
Schoolboy's like 280.
yeah, and normally I'd say that's too much of a gap to close, but it's been so long that that's actually like enough time to close a pretty big gap if he has been hammering his inside game. But
And
I
they might
have
have
to
them Russian nutritional tactics. Those guys go fucking crazy sometimes.
yeah. Yeah, and
I think Schoolboy's
but
really against that
Leonidas
though. I
is
think he's
too.
Natty. I think he's like you, man, RVJ.
And
Nah, I don't think so.
I think though, like I said, I don't know Leonidas's hand and wrist, but hypothetically, if he is able to contain the pronation, then I think that he will win. I think the arm power will be too much and the side pressure and bicep, just everything.
I agree.
Matt, what's your thoughts on this match?
With a Schoolboy and Leonidas, yeah, like you've said, everyone sort of covered that. You haven't seen Schoolboy for quite a while, but it's hard to put anything past him. I mean, his past performances, he's looked very dominant. He's coming from years and years of arm wrestling training, and yeah, I think he's going to be a solid favorite for this matchup. It'd be fun, and the good thing is that there's that question mark of whether Leonidas can step up to the table and get a win. But yeah, I think it's probably a 75 to 25 leaning Schoolboy's way at this point in time.
Israel.
This is a right-handed match, right?
Yes, right-handed.
So I do, if I'm not mistaken, I do think that that's Leonidas's weaker arm, and it's also Schoolboy's weaker arm. But Schoolboy got hurt left-handed like a year and a half ago. He had surgery, and he's been doing that crazy pumpkin training with the right. His right is looking serious. So I think that if Schoolboy's trajectory is what I think it is, then he could he could easily take this match, no problem.
Wow. Austin, what's your thoughts on this?
So, did y'all see Schoolboy's video from like 2 days ago? His wrist looks like it's about 12 inches around.
Really?
That
Wow.
him public pulling on the street or whatever, and like
I
that
saw that
wrist-
video. Yeah, I saw that.
Go
video.
Russia.
Holy shit! His wrist got big. He got thick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
so
like-
I feel like he's got to win. I mean, he looks insane.
I just as a side note, everyone says their wrist grows from arm wrestling, but I personally haven't seen like my actual wrist bone grow. I've seen my forearms grow, my hands.
No. Listen, don't buy into the fucking Kool-Aid, bro. It's all nutrition. It's all fucking supplementation. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I probably swung a hammer more than anyone you ever met in your life for longer. And I'm going to tell you what, my wrist grew maybe about a half inch, and that's just from going from like being 20 to 43. Listen, Ryan Bowen put on 2 inches on his wrist. Let's just cut that nonsense. Let's just cut the nonsense.
How's that fucking possible? That's just nonsense.
Well, the same way Levant put about 4 inches on his wrist.
Wait, like growth hormone?
James,
or
how it-
something?
Yeah,
are
of
you,
course.
are you on pancakes? Or do you let people know? Like,
Do I look fucking natty to you, Paul?
No, not at all. But I don't know how
Oh,
you
dude.
are with public. Are you open with it?
Yeah, no, I'm open about it. Yeah.
Okay, good. Like
I
that.
I used to be like super open about dosages and stuff, and I still am, but you know, back when I was like 21, 22, it was kind of just like I wasn't conscious of the impact I have on younger people. And now I'm a little more like just hesitant to say what I'm taking because I don't want people to just copy what I do. But yeah, I'm an IFBB pro, and there's not an IFBB pro on the planet that at least in men's classic bodybuilding that's natural. Not a single one.
I'm curious to ask you, do you see a difference in cycles as far as for a bodybuilder and an arm wrestler?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's certain steroids like nandrolone, that's DECA. That is basically purely anabolic. It has almost no effect on strength. And some people might rip me for that. Yes, if you put on a bunch of size while you're on DECA, you will get stronger because your body weight goes up. But that's different than a steroid that directly impacts your motor unit output, such as halotestin or anadrol. Those are two big ones in arm wrestling. Some of these guys come into fucking super matches on so much anadrol that their skin is fucking purple because their blood pressure is so high. And like versus bodybuilder cycles, yeah, some bodybuilders take anadrol because it fills them out, but strength, it's not a strength competition. The judges don't care how much you lift, they care about how you look. So all of the compounds that you take are going to just, you know, ideally be anabolic, and if they affect your strength, that's a little cherry on top, I guess, but no one really cares about that. Versus arm wrestling, it's the complete opposite. They don't care if a steroid makes you bigger, they just want one that's going to make you stronger.
The one thing I got to say about that though is what you're saying with anadrol and all. The thing you got to worry about with arm wrestling is you don't want to get pumped.
Yeah.
And you said
Yeah, but if you get so fucking strong, Paul, you just have 1 second matches.
Yeah, and exactly. And you see that with like Levon. I don't even want to know what shit he's taken, but you see that happen because
All of it.
he does just flash pins everyone. But look at what happens when he goes up against Hermes. And part of that's because he's 400 pounds and he has bad endurance. But another part of that is, you know, because of the shit he's taking is not doing any favors for his endurance at all. So it's definitely like a balancing act for a lot of these guys. I don't have any experience with like arm wrestling cycles, but I would assume that it's probably a balancing act of enough anadrol, halo, whatever to give you an edge, but not so much that you're getting pumped to the point where you can't even close your fucking fist.
I heard is that as far as the arm wrestler cycle, that works out the best for arm wrestler would be, some test, either it could be like a Sustanon, Cypionate, Enanthate, doesn't really matter. And then a small amount of Anavar, and then Primo, small amount.
I had one high level arm wrestler tell me that Anavar, and I don't know, Anavar's faked a lot because it's very expensive, but he said Anavar that he got from a good source that he trusts gave him worse pumps than any other thing he's taken. So I don't know.
Well, the thing that I hear for arm wrestlers is you're only taking 5 milligrams, where a regular bodybuilder is going to be taking 20 milligrams a day, and you're just getting the benefits from that five
Fixate that,
milligrams
dude.
as far as I think it's like collagen and other things.
Yeah, but this collagen synthesis that you get from Anavar, when you actually look at the studies, has not been done. Like, it's a dose dependent thing. You're going to get way more collagen synthesis on a proper dose of like 20 milligrams a day versus taking little female level dosages, you know? So I think actually the best cycle for bodybuilders really I mean, for arm wrestlers really doesn't even include a lot of actual anabolic steroids. I'd say growth hormone and peptides are like better than anything. Anything that's going to increase your recovery and your tendon and ligament and connective tissue strength is going to be, now you can add gear on top of that, whatever. But if you just like, dude, the shit that I've heard about what some of these high level guys are taking in terms of growth hormone dosages is like 4 times higher than what I've heard is the highest growth hormone dose for open bodybuilders. It's like,
true.
Thank you.
nuts.
Thank
It's
you. I heard
fucking
the
nuts.
same shit.
True.
I
Yeah,
heard a fucking dude taking more growth than Ronnie Coleman took in his prime.
2 bottles a day.
Yeah. And
2
no one
bottles a
actually,
day.
dude, I remember Rich Piana came out with a video talking about his cycle, and he was doing 15 IUs of growth a day, and everyone was like, holy shit, that's so much, that's insane, blah blah blah. For reference, I take 3.
Yep.
And that's like a good amount for me. I do that because it helps with sleep, it helps my skin, and it helps my recovery.
When do you choose to take it, at night or in the morning?
Pre-workout and before bed. And I've noticed it does give me really vivid dreams, sometimes nightmares, but it's like the dreams you have on growth are insane. It definitely improves your REM sleep, but it helps with hyperplasia, collagen synthesis.
I've heard of arm wrestlers, not just one, a bunch, hitting like in that 20 a day range.
I heard of one guy that was hitting 40.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Is he a millionaire? That stuff's so expensive.
I mean, I was told not to say who, so I won't say who, but it was someone who was trying to I assume get some bone growth and acromegaly going, because that's the only reason you would ever take a dose that fucking absurd.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, at that point it's like, you know, I'm not even going to comment on that because that's just extremely unhealthy. But yeah, I would say growth and not that kind of dosage, and as well as like BPC and TB5. I think every arm wrestler on the planet should be doing BPC and TB500 right into their medial epicondyle right here, and just do that every single day. And it's natural. I mean, you can fucking debate all day about whether or not it's natural, but it's not an anabolic steroid, and it doesn't have any negative side effects, and it's just going to improve your connective tissue strength.
And that is BP 157. You're saying
BPC 157. It's actually produced in your gut, but you can also make it's body protective compound 157, and it protects your gut. I think just from like, you know, certain shit that enters your gut. But when you inject it, I've heard from some sources say it's local and some others say it's systemic and it doesn't matter where you inject it. I just err on the side of caution and I do it right in here. And also what you were saying, Paul, this muscle here, which I think is for ulnar deviation, which I don't really know why it gets so jammed up, but for whatever reason it does. And I actually do that intramuscular, and I just look away and jab it. And then it's, you know, it's not the most pleasant thing, but I do that in there. And then in here, look at that pronator.
Okay, so hold on. So you do intramuscular into this part, and now do you do into the skin?
Yeah, so there's no muscle here. There kind of is, but you have your pronator here, and then you have your wrist flexors here. Right here there's your bone, the medial epicondyle, and then you have your UCL. This is a ligament. And you don't want to pierce the ligament, but I usually just do right next to it. You can feel the ligament like with your finger, and you just do right next to it, or you can either even do.
Yeah, probably safer to go right under the elbow and the tricep, right?
Yeah,
but hold on. Let me just make it clear for everybody. You're going into the skin or intramuscular with that shot?
There is really no muscle here that you can even go into, so you have to go into the skin.
Don't you do it with like an insulin needle, like a tiny little needle, right?
Yeah,
it's like that's the one you use for the skin for growth hormone.
Yeah, it's the same. It's a 31 gauge, 5/16 inch,
And
and every
James,
every
just so you know, brother, I had two surgeries on my bicep tendons, and I did both the BPC 157 and the TB 500 on both, and I also did the growth hormone, and I did 10 IUs a day for it was the first 2 weeks, and then I went down to a half bottle for the next 2 weeks, and then back down to point 0.3. And that was my
and did you
recovery.
notice you recovered well?
Oh my God. So the first time I didn't have that formula down, it was like kind of like trial and error. That was on the right arm. On the left, I knew what I was getting into because on the right, they hit my nerve as well. So my hand was shut off for like 6 months. So everything was prolonged. So I got to try everything out and all. Figured out the formula on the left, it was half the time. Everything was so much quicker, and I did everything that you just said. Everything worked beautiful, but I never did intramuscular with the BPC 157. I'm very interested in that, and I might try that out with this arm over here.
You don't have to. I just the way I see it is like it's a direct. I mean, it's going to stay in the muscle. But regardless whether you're doing subcutaneous or intramuscular, I don't think that's going to be like the big needle mover. But yeah, did you tear your biceps doing preacher curl by any chance? What did you do it on?
No, I was actually pulling. I was
Oh,
experienced at the beginning, and I was in a fully supinated, wide open, and
yeah.
ego pulling and just jerked back and popped it the exact same way both times. And bro, you want to hear something? What's crazy? It was the same day, 1 year. What later? August 27th. I was, same day, exact same. So now from now on, I just lock myself in the closet August 27th, and I don't do nothing because
That's my birthday, bro. Come on, you can't lock yourself up.
shit, it's your birthday. Holy shit!
He
Wow.
popped both biceps on his birthday, bro.
Yeah, bro.
That's
It was
crazy.
not fun, but yeah, all that stuff really worked, man. And I also I think I learned the hard way with tearing it. I think it was a lot to do with the bodybuilding cycles, and that's why I brought this up. And I probably should have told you my experience too. And what I was doing was I was always staying really, really tight and lean, really ripped, bro. Like I'm talking like
Can I interject real quick?
yes,
Were you running were you running aromatase inhibitors?
yes, I was anti-estrogen.
Yeah, those
Exactly.
will fucking cook your connective tissue.
Hey, boom. So that was my story right there. So I was, bodybuilding world, we wanted to cut down estrogen and keep tight and all that. With arm wrestling, it's the opposite. You want to keep some water in retention in there. So
Yeah.
that was one of the things I learned the hard way. And both times I was running a Remodex, and then I was talking with my bodybuilding coach and kind of like just telling him. And then he was thinking it all over, and he's like, "Yo, bro, it's completely different with arm wrestling and all, and you're drying yourself out." And another thing that I also heard from a lot of people in the arm wrestling world that I educate them a lot is a lot of them will take Winstrol, and
Yeah.
you look at them and you're like, bro, and a lot of these guys broke their arms. One of the guys that I first started training with, a year before broke his arm. He told me the whole story. And we got to know each other. Then we're talking cycles one day, and then he goes and tells me the cycle he likes the best. And he said Winstrol. And I'm like, bro, you're an arm wrestler. You should never ever say that word again. You should never
Yeah.
touch that. That messes with your bones. And that's how you broke your arm. And he was arguing with me, and then he went home, Googled it, and then he's like, "Holy shit, bro! I think you're right." I was like, "Yeah, I know I'm right." Like, that's definitely so. I try, educating people, in arm wrestling because there's not many people that admit to they're doing steroids and all. So, I tell people, I come from the bodybuilding background. I'm open with that, and there was a learning curve, man. And I try telling people about this. So, because if you're talking about to go get juice from somebody, normally you get it from the big gym dude. And he's giving you bodybuilding advice, not knowing, it's different. And also,
And also, if you run Anavar for better collagen synthesis, half the time that shit's actually Winstrol. So you're doing the opposite, so that's where it gets risky and where you really should get your stuff tested. Because if you accidentally run Winstrol, you think you're healing yourself, you're doing the complete opposite.
yes.
Yeah.
We also had a friend on here that broke both arms. And it was actually something that he was taking for his stomach. I think he was having stomach ulcers. And,
Omeprazole.
something like that, and they did a test, and it was making his bones brittle, and they
Yeah.
didn't know he was arm wrestle, and he literally broke both arms within, I think it was like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, it's a proton pump inhibitor, so it reduces the amount of stomach acid that you make to help with stomach ulcers and acid reflux, but it also can give you like straight up osteoporosis. Yeah.
Wow, that is wow.
And I someone should clip that and post it somewhere, because I feel like a lot of people don't know that, and they probably are taking omeprazole. It's over the counter. You can go get it at the pharmacy, and they think, oh, this helps with my heartburn. And if you arm wrestle or even do bodybuilding and you're taking that stuff consistently, yeah, I mean, that's really risky.
Yeah,
Super risky.
this is great stuff for the arm wrestling community, man. I love having talks like this, and having guests like you with the bodybuilding background, and you seem very knowledgeable and all. And
Yeah.
this is great stuff. We need more of this. And we used to. I had Lachlan Adair on a bunch of times, and we would talk about stuff. He's very, very educated, coming from a powerlifting background. And the more we were talking, man, you were looking for a coach, bro. I really think might be your guy, bro, because you guys have a very similar background. He's learned how to transition all that powerlifting background and bodybuilding background and come a really, really top level arm wrestler. And
yeah, I messaged him about maybe having him write me a program, and he didn't really seem receptive to it. He just kind of said, I'll send you my program when I'm getting ready to start my peak cycle, whatever. I need to hit him up about that because he might have forgotten.
yeah, I'll put us in a group, man. Lachlan's a really good friend of mine. He's come out here and hang out a bunch of times, and once he knows I like you, and he knows you're in the crew and all, he'll definitely hook you up, man. He'll help you out for sure.
Cool. Thank
Very
you.
smart dude for sure.
Cool.
Before we call it ending night, man, I just want to catch up on a couple of things in the community. I know Israel, you were keeping us up to date with things. What's going on that went down this week and all that we haven't talked about yet?
A big thing that went on this last weekend that I wanted to bring up real quick was the 176 man round robin thrown by Laray Jenkins. And wow, what an event. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it, but both right and left-handed was a surprising day, and there was a lot of killers there. Unexpected results. Did any of you get a chance to see that?
Mm-mm.
Bro, that was amazing, man. Like, it was crazy. I couldn't believe the 154-pound guys took the spotlight, man, of the whole thing right hand.
Yeah.
It was like, everybody was kind of talking shit about them even being in it. And I kind of knew, man, like I kept saying that dude, Hunter, bro, he is just a killer, bro. And he really put on a show. He destroyed everybody. There was only one match that he lost. It was against our guest last week, Alexander Costans
Yeah.
from Canada. He was the only one to beat Hunter that day, but Hunter, the winner of the 154, went up to the 176 class round robin, won first place right hand. Second place was Dalton Duncan, man. Another
That
one.
was surprising.
He was on the show with us, and the way that they were all talking was like he had no chance and all that. And wow, bro, what a low hand top roll he's got.
That
That thing
Dalton,
is
man.
nasty, killer.
He's one of those unsuspecting guys that you look at. He looks like, he looks like 140 pounds, and like you're just gonna take this guy for a ride, and he just has a mean top roll, man. That guy
Yeah.
was impressive.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he surprised me that day for sure. And then to see Cody Wood, man, Cody Wood was thrown in there at the end. He was a lightweight guy, came in third place, and I think he came in third place in the 154s as well too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's another guy. He's a young guy. I feel like his performance got a little overshadowed by, Hunter's crazy monster performance that he had. But that guy, he's so impressive, that Cody Wood, man. He is a strength athlete. He's all about, doing pull-ups and doing this crazy things. I think he posted a video doing like, I don't know how much extra weight he had, but he just does these crazy pull-ups.
He set the
And
world
yeah,
record for pound for pound.
yeah, he does have a world record. The dude is a unit for sure.
For real. And then left hand was a great one too. Eli Sadoff just dominated everybody, went undefeated left hand,
Undefeated,
destroyed
man.
everybody. And he even beat Justin Bishop, man, which, I think that was the only loss Justin had. And
Yeah.
was against Eli, but I think they have a pass. They went back and forth and all. Justin did really, really well, and Justin filled in at the last minute too. You know, he wasn't originally supposed to be part of it. I think somebody dropped out, and he jumped in there. And what an amazing show he put on. He, like I said, he only had that one loss. I think it was like 11-1.
Yeah, yeah.
Devin Bear came in third place, and Devin OG Polar Man just unbelievable. Showed out again. But I love these round robins. Keep them coming, Laray. That was amazing. Really, really liked it. And I think there's a big one coming up in Arizona States. He teamed up with Tim Talmadge, and they're throwing the 220 over there next. That's going to be
220 round robin. Are they doing the or what? I guess they still need to do a 198, so they can't invite anyone, huh?
they got
they did the 198 already. So this the 221 is going to include the Craig Tullier.
Yeah, because he won the 198, so
Yeah.
he'll go up to 220 as long as he's not hurt, you know, because
Yeah,
he
okay.
was hurt. And then I know they got the ladies round robin as well. I'm not sure when that is, but they got that one going on too. That's
Yeah.
gonna be a good one.
That's gonna be a good one. Let's see what ladies they band together for this one.
Hell yeah. And is there anything else that went down this week, bro?
In terms of big events, I don't think so. Chance keeps adding some interesting matches to his Florida event, but I don't have them pulled up right here.
You know what? Let's do that next week. Let's get into that whole. We'll break that whole
Yeah,
down.
I'll have them all down and ready for next week.
You know what I do want to mention is the Knuckles Up 3 going down May 11th, Fort Lee, New Jersey. It's going to be starting 5 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to be going there in person. I'm going to be making a trip over there.
Wow.
Wait for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. They got some good matches announced already. They got that ladies match, Danielle Evenson going against Nadia Wilczynski.
Wow.
This one's going to be a good one. I know everybody knows Danielle from North America and all, but I also know Nadia. She's a killer. I met her over at the Olympia a couple of years ago, and I know she's under the radar, but I think it's going to be a really good one. It's going to be a war. And then the other one that's really interesting to me is Jason Merlo is going against Mario Tambakis. That's your guy, Matt.
Wow, really?
Yeah, from
Isn't Mario a bigger guy?
He's about 110 kilos, so 230, 235, something like that.
And isn't Merlot like a 198 guy, or he's going up?
Merlo's probably walks around like 220. I think he cut down to that 198. He's probably more like 210, but I think he goes into that 220 class.
Okay.
But yeah, Merlo, man, is just a murder. Like, he's a table ninja. So it's gonna be a good one. I can't wait for that. I know Mario very well. He came to Washington States. I got to party with Mario. Mario is just real great energy, a lot of fun to hang out with, and amazing guy on the table. So it's gonna be a good war, that one. And then the other good one is they got Tom Holland going against that guy Bok Sung Yeol, the one that went against Ryan Bowen. So I think that's going to be a
number
good
one
matchup. That's going to be a absolute war. And then they got the two monsters, BJ Fakakis going against Mindaugas Dolskis, which that is going to be, you know, two monsters just going at it. And then they got another one where I can't pronounce either one of their names, but I will try. It's Toshiki Yuki and I don't know, Shiznido versus Ji Hong Min.
Wow.
I just messed that up totally, but yeah, if somebody can fix that up for me.
Well, those are some hard names right there.
Yeah, for real, man. But I can't wait for this event. If you guys are over on the East Coast, make sure to get over there. They throw an amazing event at the beginning. That you got the meet and greet. You get to meet all the athletes, and they got drinks. You could get food. I think they just changed the venue. They just up into a big theater, or it was in a hotel convention center before, but now they just went into like this big theater, and it's going to be a whole new venue. And then right after, they got the big they used to go across the convention hall to another hall, and they would do the after pull there. But I guess they're going to do I don't know if it's going to be in the theater or not. We got to talk to them about that. But it's an amazing weekend they put together. Definitely going to check it out. They got a press conference on Friday night and then the event on Saturday night. So definitely check out the High Five Arm Wrestling Club on Instagram. You can follow all their match updates and all that. And like I said, it's the Knuckles Up 3 event going down May 11th.